place to conduct a session there. And the flight timings were such that for 1 day's session, I had to devote 3 days. So the thought occurred, when there is so much work to be done, when there are so many things to be done, why 3 days? But quickly I corrected that. See, that's not a terribly vicious negative thought, but it is still negative. I quickly corrected that and said, okay, let's make the best of a bad bargain. So when I was there, I said, one of the few things that one is denied in a city like Bombay is time to oneself, to reflect, to study, that's if you want to study. And so I said, this is an excellent opportunity because I don't know anybody there. I'm just going there to take a session. And I took all whatever books I had to take and studied, reflected, thought, which was blissful. Second thing, sometimes due to pressure of work that you don't get enough, you sometimes miss physical exercise. So I went for long walks. And at the end of it, the session that I took came out much better than it would have otherwise. Why? Because the mindset changed from negative to positive. So you have to get back to your own experience and think, where is it that I'm negative? How can I change my attitude? And then see the magical, mysterious way in which your performance changes for the better, in spite of your not having done anything about your skills. So negativity is important. And this comes because of desire. Desire is something that makes you feel insecure, makes you feel threatened. I don't know if you read an article which appeared in the newspaper yesterday that President Bush feels threatened, feels insecure, feels everybody is an enemy. Just because you express an opinion that is different from mine doesn't mean that I need to think of you as an enemy. So desire pushes you into a corner, isolates you, marginalizes you. And that's what lends to your state of agitation. And the third is ego. If the first two are bad enough, ego completely finishes you off. You know, there's an instance, a real life incident of a musician who went to a recording studio to record some mantras or hymns for a particular ashram. And naturally, when you do things for an ashram, there was no big payment coming his way, so he was treating it very casually. And he said, oh, I'll go there in half an hour, finish it off. You know what happened? He was egoistic, arrogant. He went there, tried, and tried again. The whole day he struggled. He couldn't record a single piece. So at the end of the day, the gentleman from the ashram was watching the proceedings. He knew what the problem was. He went to him and said, tomorrow morning, before you come for recording, why don't you just go to the ashram, pay your respects, and come back? This man was at his wit's end, so he agreed. He went there, came back, within half an hour, he finished what he had to do. This is ego. It comes in the way of your performance. When you think you're too big or too great, an exaggerated opinion of yourself is what ego is. It agitates your mind, it gets you in stress, and it hinders your performance. So, what is the diagnosis? Where is stress? These three, negativity, desire, and ego, where do they lie? Within yourself. Yet, when you are in stress, what do you say? Whom do you attribute the stress to? Or what do you attribute the stress to? Something, somebody outside of yourself. Either it's the mother-in-law, or it's the traffic, or it's bad food, or it's something or the other outside of yourself. So the first thing that you need to understand before you deal with stress is accept, however painful it may be, that stress is internal. And therefore, the cure also must be internal. You can rearrange the world around you again and again, but it will not help until you come to terms with the fact that stress lies within you. So what is the definition of stress? Stress occurs when the mind, which is the realm of emotions, impulses, feelings, overwhelms the intellect, which is your rational discriminative ability. So, stress is turbulence caused by unfulfilled desires. This is the definition of stress. Now, having understood this, what you need to know is, see, when you say the mind overwhelms the intellect, what it means is that the mind is constantly manufacturing desires. You're always on the lookout for desires. You come across something new, I want it. Even if you're sitting by yourself, the mind goes to areas where you don't have a certain thing, where you're deficient, and generates desires. So it is the desire and unfulfilled desire. When you entertain a desire, you have no guarantee that that desire is going to be fulfilled. In fact, the chances are that the desire will remain unfulfilled. An unfulfilled desire is the source of stress. The moment the desire is unfulfilled, it causes turbulence in the mind, and this turbulence is stress. So let's analyze desire, because this is where the stress lies. I don't know whether you're able to follow it. There's a scientific pinpointing of the cause of stress and dealing with that stress, which is in the scriptures. The Vedas deal with them, the Bhagavad Gita deals with it, every scripture in the world deals with this, desire. Swami Vivekananda said, control your mind, conquer your mind, and then you will conquer the world. So conquer your mind means what? Conquest of desire. In order to conquer the desire, you need to understand what does the desire do. First of all, desire impedes work. We know of only two states. One in which the mind is calm. When the mind is calm, you see no reason to work, there is no motivation to work, and therefore there is no action. This is not the state that we're talking about. This is a tamasic state, lazy state, state of inertia, indifference. If at all we act, that action emerges out of discontent. I'm unhappy with what I have now, and therefore I work, I act to get what I don't have. That is rajasic, which is a very negative motivation. Any motivation to work that comes out of discontent, deficiency, cannot be excellence. So what we are speaking of is action that emerges out of a calm mind. When your mind is calm, or let's put it this way, your mind is calm when you dedicate your action, when you dedicate your life to something higher, nobler. Something, somebody other than yourself. So when the mind is calm, you perform dedicated actions, and dedicated actions are excellence, is excellence. Even Westerners, Billie Jean King, you've heard of her? Wimbledon player. She said she achieved this combination of dynamic activity, almost violent activity, aggressive activity, that comes in an environment of total tranquility of the mind. She says these are the moments when she excelled. She said when she got there, these moments are few and far between for people who haven't trained themselves towards it. So when she achieved it, she says, I wanted to stop the game, grab the mic, and scream out to all the people that this is what it's all about. It's not about winning the trophy at the end of the match. It's not about gaining fame or name or earning money. It's about the performance of that pure action. And the action becomes pure when the mind is calm. At least we must understand this. Getting there may be tough. But you must understand that the best activity comes out of a calm mind. Sports people particularly have understood that their best performance comes when their mind is calm. And their mind is calm, they say, when they've stepped out of themselves, when there is no thought of self. And that's a fabulous state to be in. But the only problem is, it just happens, they experience it, and before they know what's happening, it's gone. They don't know how to maintain their actions in that steady state, sthita prajna, as Krishna says in the 2nd chapter of the Gita. What a fabulous state to be in. That your mind is completely at rest and your body is working dynamically. This is called effortlessness in the midst of intense activity. This combination we don't know. Where there is intense activity, we lose our peace of mind. Where there is peace of mind, we don't act. So therefore, what impedes action is desire. The next thing that the desire does is it makes you unhappy. You have a desire for a particular object. You feel that when I gain that particular object, I will be happy. Are you happy? No. Why aren't you happy? What happens? You want more. So that's called greed. When the desire is fulfilled, it develops into greed. You want more. If the desire is fulfilled still more, you get into a state of delusion. It's called irrational exuberance. You feel that nothing can go wrong with you. Delusion. And then that delusion is fed still more. You gain more and more. What happens? Someone or the other will be having more than you. You're envious of a person who has more than you. You're arrogant towards people who have less than you. What you need to remember is all of this whole scenario causes extreme mental agitation and stress. So this is what happens when the desire gets fulfilled. What happens when the desire is thwarted? When you have a desire for a certain object, you have a thought flow that goes from you to that particular object. And a third element comes and obstructs it. Your thought flow gets diverted towards the obstruction, and this is called anger. The person wants to earn a lot of money, and a competitor comes and takes away his customers. What happens? His thought flow gets diverted as anger towards the competitor. So, with desire, it's a lose-lose situation. Whatever happens, whether the desire gets fulfilled or thwarted, you are still in a state of stress. Assuming you obtain the object of desire, what happens? It prevents your enjoyment of it. Haven't you seen people who are in such a frenzy, obsession with gaining the object of desire? Usually it's money. They're after money so much, and they earn so much money, they stash so much money, but never are they able to enjoy the money that they themselves have earned by their hard work. Simple thing like enjoying a meal requires a calm mind. A calm mind is an essential prerequisite to enjoyment of any kind. When you're in a state of constant stress, what are you going to enjoy? The irony in the world is those who have the resources lack the ability to enjoy. And those who have the capacity to enjoy, unfortunately, don't have resources. Rare is the person who has resources and he has a calm mind to be able to enjoy what he has earned. So, desire prevents you from enjoying what you yourself have earned. Second, it destroys relationships. desire and ego put you on a collision course with others. It is Vedanta that helps you to set aside your desire and operate on what is known as duty. The moment you get into a relationship with anybody, whatever it be, your first and last thought should be, I have entered this sacred relationship. What is my duty towards that person? That's the beginning and the end of your interaction with the person. Any relationship which is based on duties will always be harmonious, will always be happy. Because what you've done is set aside your desire and dedicated yourself to your obligation to the person. But that's not what modern life is about. It's about rights. A young person gets married and says, isn't it my husband's duty to take care of me? The wife says the same thing. And that's why before you know it, there's trouble. There's dissonance. There's discord in every relationship. The most important thing is desire makes you compromise on your values. When your desire mounts to a level where your income is not able to satisfy or meet with your desires, ethically, legally, properly, then you resort to unethical, immoral, illegal methods to fulfill your desires. For instance,